should walk in with the condom herself, Karen.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela. Uh, uh, and I have got questions for you. What opens with Jackie still being done? It's done. It's done. It's done. Everybody done. And what closes with Jackie maybe being done with where's my camera? Okay. Jackie maybe being done with being cuckoo crazy and ready to go and get some help. If you guessed or read the real Basketball Wives season 7, episode 4, I think that's what it is. You're correct. The episode that just came on right now on June 4th. You're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video or jumping on the live and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. I am Angela and the channel is Be Fabulous. You. Let us proceed. Let me lock my door. Okay, so we open up with we loop back around to like where we started, where we ended last week. We loop back to a little bit before that, and it's done. After it's done, we pick up with it's done. Everybody is done. Ev is done. Jackie's done. Everybody's done. It's a done data. And then Jen is like, well, are we done? And Tam is like, I'm done. And she leaves after she and Jackie hug. So she says she leaving because she don't want to have to fight Jen. And then they sit and talk, and Kristen and OG are trying to mediate, but OG wasn't there the whole time. She's kind of come in a little bit later and tried to mediate. And Kristen gets a little upset because OG says we, and Kristen is like, well, you just came here. How can you say we? And basically like, you just came on the show like me, so we ain't part of this mess or whatever. Like, how are you trying to mediate? I didn't really understand Kristen's issue with OG, to be quite honest. I kind of felt like she was picking a fight with her. I don't know if she's picking a fight with her because she's a mean girl and she doesn't like how she looks. I don't know, but Kristen seemed like a nice girl to me, a nice young woman before this episode, but I was kind of confused. Help me out. What was the issue with her and OG? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I blinked and I missed something significant that happened. So then Kristen is like, you just got here. And OG is like, well, you don't have to be here. And Kristen is like, I'll leave. And then OG kind of follows her. And so they have a further interaction. Hey, welcome on the chat. And then Kristen and OG are talking. And OG is like, look, girl, I got some lessons for you. I got some advice for you. And Kristen is like, I don't need no lessons and I don't need no advice from you. I'm a grown-blooded woman. I got a husband and I got a child. And OG is like, oh yeah, you got a husband? And Kristen is like, yes, I do. And OG is like, well, where is he? And Kristen is like, oh, I'm leaving. Okay. So I don't know, maybe that's like some code from I'll take your man right out the box and put him under my padlock. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Hey, Rowdy Chick, I was kind of like, why, I'd be like, he at home, and I don't know, but she was upset by that. Then we see Shawnee with her little model son, little cute boy, and they're meeting with a white woman about Shawnee's dispensary. So since she's waiting for the license to be a legal dispensary, she's scoping out spaces, trying to get her design together, all of that. So I like to see the business development aspect, and this actually makes sense to me. Sometimes when the women are developing the business, it's like what they show on the TV don't seem to make sense, and it don't really seem to fit the scenario. And she says she wants it, like a green leafy look and the foresty effect. And Miles, that's the model son, he's like, yeah, and they got a nice seating area so folks can get high. And Shawnee is like, you can't get high where you buy. I don't know this. So maybe this is like some known thing with the marijuana thing. Because in Amsterdam, they have little cafes and you can buy this weed and get high there. I thought that was like, the whole concept, but I guess not in California, not in Cali. You can't get high where you buy. At least that's what Miss Shawnee said. And so she says that, in her interview, she goes on to say that she feels that Miles will be really good at running the business, a really good partner, that he's really good with folks and he's really good with the culture, as in the weed smoking culture, I'm assuming. And she says, it's a family business. We'll be like the Kennedys and their alcohol. So, I think that I don't know really the history of the Kennedys, but I think the illusion is too, I think they might have built their empire when it was illegal during prohibition, but I'm not positive. But she not doing something illegal, so it's not exactly the same. But anyway, um she says that her son Miles is very business savvy. Hey, welcome on the chat. And that he had a clothing line that he had created himself. And then they kind of have a conversation about a soft opening. He's not familiar with the concept, like where you have like our grand opening day is, July 4th, but we're going to have a soft opening June 4th to try it out, work out the kinks, figure out what we need to fix, what's working, what's not working. He like a soft opening. I mean, when I think of a soft opening, I think of a behind hole. And we're all like, huh? We see Shawnee joining Jen and Evelyn with Kristen. And I'm kind of like, now, why is Kristen there? Because theoretically, Kristen is supposed to be Shawnee's son's coach's wife. So she's supposed to be like connected through Shawnee. Now, maybe Shawnee invited her and Kristen just got there earlier. But it's like, that's the whole crew of OGs. And I really don't see how Kristen fits in. Like, it just seems like they're putting her there for the show. I don't really see the vibe, although as the scene progressed, she seems like she's in exactly the right place. So she's there, Kristen is dogging out OG in her attire, and then Evelyn joins in dogging out OG, and then Kristen is telling them that so they like, I guess they're like the way Evelyn likes to talk about the way people dress or the way their body looks or whatever. I guess Kristen is like on that same vibe too, so I guess that's why she fits in. But I don't know how they've like really established like, oh, we're all mean girls, we're all appearance focused, so we should all hang out. I don't know, but maybe I missed that part. And so then Kristen tells them that what OG said, like, is your husband really at home with your kid? And then Jen and Shawnee and Ev are like, oh my gosh, that's so shocking. I still didn't really understand what the big shocking part was. And then Jen tells Shawnee, yeah, because Shawnee was the only one who wasn't at the party. And then Jen tells Shawnee, yeah, and that was the first time that Tam and Evelyn saw each other, saw each other or whatever. And Evelyn is like, yeah, and she tried to say, oh, not Shawnee, but Tam tried to say, oh, you tell jokes. Well, what are your jokes? And here's my bonnet. And Evelyn said, I'm not promoting your bonnet. And then they talk about the fact that Tammy does not want anybody laughing, at her. Well, Tammy is like, it's cool if you're going to laugh at me, then laugh at, the other one too. Although jokes are funny. What's funny to one person may not be funny to another person. But at this point, Jennifer tells Shawnee, and it's kind of been like a question, like, why hasn't Tammy confronted Shawnee about feeling like, well, you're laughing at jokes about me, but you're not laughing at my jokes about Evelyn. So, Jennifer lets Shawnee know that Tam has an issue with that. And then Evelyn's position is basically like, well, Tammy doesn't want anybody laughing at her. And, I don't think anybody necessarily loves for somebody to laugh at them, but I'm not sure. Like, I think that, Tammy would be a good enough sport, because she seemed to handle I like how she handled Evelyn with all of this. She seemed to do a good job of it. Hey, welcome on the chat. So then we see Kristen with her baby Kenzie, cute little baby, and she's a cutie patootie. And it's like kind of a cute family time type thing they have going with her and the baby and her husband. And Kristen goes on to say that Kristen is 100% confident in herself and in her marriage and in her hubby. So that's why when OG questioned her, that's off limits. And I'm kind of confused because I feel like if you're 100% confident, then why you getting upset? If I know I'm not a pink elephant and somebody's like, you're a pink elephant, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not. That's off limits. I'm not a pink elephant. I mean, like, I don't know why she's getting upset about it if she's totally 100% confident. So I think that she might protest too much. She might have a little some insecurity about some of that stuff. But they appear to be a really cute family from what we can see. They look cute and good on the TV. We see Doug and Jackie Christie at a tango class, so they're going out dancing. We got another scene with families interacting. We get to see, black love again. And of course, Miss Jackie is like, well, the tango is like making love, because we know that's her shtick. She's gonna say that. And she like, we always love to make love. Hell, if we came to your house, we might make love. I'm like, you ain't. I'm gonna have my good eyes on you, Miss Jackie. You ain't coming to my house and not defaming it, but you know what I mean. Um, so she's basically like, I'm spending family time because I'm trying to decompress from the stress and pressure of my interaction with Evelyn, blah blah blah. That's their story and they sticking to it. And then we see Miss Shawnee with Tam Tam, and Tam Tam is joining Shawnee like at a restaurant or something. And so basically, Tammy is saying something about her hair, and I guess she has a weave and then she wears wigs on top of it. I kind of missed the whole thing, but I'm assuming it's a weave because Shawnee said something, and Tammy is like, no, I just braided it up and put the wig on top of it. And if it was her regular hair, her real hair, I guess she would just braid it up, and it wouldn't be no conversation. So anyway, I don't really know enough. I was just kind of like, huh? Because I don't really know the whole, I've never had a weave. When I wear a wig, I might wear a wig cap, but I don't really wear a wig like for costume effect. I have, and then there was one job where when I first started, I'm like, I think I have to have straight hair. And then I'm like, I don't give a bleep. And so, I had gotten some weird wigs, and it was like an awful, awful experience because the people who were selling it, they didn't really know how to sell me what I wanted. So anyway, so yeah, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Doug, peace. Thanks for jumping in the chat. And then Shawnee, so Shawnee is like, I've not met OG, but I have heard about her appearance and her attitude and her breastises. And Tam is like, her breasts? And Shawnee is like, yeah, that they're floppy. And Tam is like, well, I can't really talk about that because mine are floppy too. Which I kind of feel like, yeah, all of these are like older women. They're older women who have had children. Not all of them, but I mean, it's just like, what kind of woman is talking about another woman's breasts like in a disparaging way? I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, I appreciated that Tam was like, well, I can't say nothing about it. Moving on. And then Shawnee is like, well, Jen told me basically that you were mad that I didn't laugh. And Shawnee is like, oh, did she? And then, in her interview, she like, that Jen is just messy, 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 messy boots. It just get messier and messier. And she's like, well, we can talk about it. Basically, I feel like you came and you had the stone face when I was making the joke. And Shawnee is like, well, I feel like I came and I was there and that was support. And so I don't have to support you by laughing. And, Tammy is basically like, it's hard to get up on stage and do that work. And so I could have used the support. And, Shawnee's position is I supported you. My ass was there. I was there. So there you go. So anyway, we see Kristen and her hubby at an outing. They're making cocktails, like a bartending school. So I was a little confused because it was like the guy made the cocktails and served them to them. So I'm like, maybe it's just a bar, but just for two of them, I don't know. But then later on, they were making, I guess he trained them and then they could make more cocktails. And I guess earlier when we saw Kristen with her husband, she was like, hey, I want to have, a baby. I want to have more babies. And he was like, or another baby. And he's like, well, you say you want to go out with your friends. You say you want to have a baby. I mean, which one is it? And it's kind of like, maybe both. Like, huh? So her plan, or, the story they advancing is that she's trying to get him liquored up so that she can get a little boy out of him. So, he gets a little drunk, or she said he get drunk easily, so he get drunk, and I might have fell asleep during that part because I don't really know what happened next. The next thing I know is that Shawnee and Jen are at a spot, and then Tam Tam joins them. And Tam Tam is basically like, Jen has basically showed herself to me. If she wants to be friends, she's gonna have to prove it, because she's not really showing herself to be very friendly. And she's like, Jennifer is talking, and she's like, yeah, I was so drunk or whatever. And Tam is like, okay, so she want to blame drinking, whatever. She can say she was drunk or not, but basically, Jen has one more strike with me, Tammy, and then I guess Tam Tam is gonna get her Bam Bam on. That's why I call her Tam Tam, although she hadn't been doing much Bam Bamming. So maybe we need to just go back to Tammy. um and then we see then Tam Tam is like, the hanging out with Evelyn was cool for me. It's all good. I'm glad we know where we stand. Neither one of us want to be friends with the other, so that's cool. And Jen is like, with her cute earrings, she has some cute earrings on. She's like, I wish we could all just get along. Okay, so then we see Sanaya, that's Jackie's daughter, and her baby, Jackie's grandbaby, and Jackie. And it's more family time. We had a lot of family time, a lot of black love, and it was good wholesome time we spent together this week on the Basketball Wives. And Jackie is talking to Sanaya about Evelyn, and just kind of about what happened and why. And Sanaya kind of looked like I thought she was going to argue with her mother about what happened with Evelyn, but she didn't. And of course, Jackie's like, oh, Evelyn is just ruining my relationship with my daughters or whatever. And then we realize Jackie is like, well, have you talked to Takari? And Sanaya is like, no. And then Sanaya says in her little interview that she's loving Takari from afar. It's sad to me, that whole, estrangement of mother from daughter and daughter from mother and sister from sister. I want them to all get along and work it out. And, yeah. So Jackie is like, well, as a mom, I did my best. Do you think I went too far? And then she's looking at Sanaya like, you better say what I told you to say. And then Sanaya is like, I don't know what she says, like, yeah, you went kind of far or whatever. And then Jackie is like, I'm just passionate and I love you from afar. I hug up on strangers, but I don't hug up on you, and it made you guys tough. I don't hug up on you often. And Sanaya is like, you never hug me. And Jackie's like, that's not true. That's not true. And then in her little interview, Jackie is like, I don't hug my kids much. Now the child done said you don't hug me at all. So, it's interesting how Jackie's story differs from her daughter's story. And she's, I don't know. It just seemed like she's just going to make the story what she wants it to be. And then, I don't hug her enough. And she says she feels it hurts her, to say, for my daughter to say that I don't hug her enough, and your daughter actually didn't say you don't hug her enough. She said you don't hug her at all. And then she asked her at the end, oh, do you want to hug? And the girl's like, no. And that was kind of sad too. Then we see Shawnee, and she's telling her mom that she is going to go into a new business, and she's going to be a legal drug dealer. And she's like, the numbers, mama, when you see the numbers, you're going to want to get involved. You're going to want to join me. What about your sweet tea and pound cake? We can infuse them with weed and have sweet tea and pound cake at the cafe or whatever. I guess it can't be a cafe, but they could take it to go. And come on, dear. She calls her mother dear. Come on, dear. Come on. And I was remembering, wasn't it last season when didn't Shawnee have a scare in her family? Somebody was dealing with diabetes, and I'm just thinking sweet tea and pound cake, that sounds like a recipe for diabetes right there. I don't know if it was her mother. I couldn't remember who was dealing with diabetes, but I'm kind of like, eat some whole grains, leave the refined white sugar alone. No. Anyway. And then Shawnee's like, well, I just wanted to make sure that you knew, in case some of the church member were like, I'm going to your daughter's dispensary to pick up and get my supply. So, it was like a cute little scene. And the mother is like, no one from my church would do that or whatever. So more family time. That's the theme tonight, family time. Then we see Jen, and she's driving Melee to meet up with Ev, and Jennifer is like serving as the mediator, and Melee is like, I'm pretty cool with Jen, but I've been keeping my distance since the whole Cece thing. And then I'm like, dang, we hadn't seen Cece the whole episode. At the end of the last episode, you kind of got the feeling that Cece was like, I don't care about dealing with these women. I don't even like this. I don't like nobody calling me a hoe. I don't. And Kristen was like, well, I like the ladies. So it's like we see Kristen all in the mix, and we ain't seen Cece. We don't see her the whole episode. So maybe she had her turning point after that first encounter with the mean women. But Malaysia says she's been keeping her distance from her friend Jen since the whole Cece thing. Because Cece is family, and Jen is like, well, I know that you and Jackie are close, but you and Ev can be cool too. I mean, I've never heard Ev say anything to me about not liking you. And Malaysia is basically like, I don't have any issue with Ev. So they get to the restaurant, they meet up and they sit down, and it's kind of awkward, or at least it's edited like that. Like, nobody's really saying anything at first. And then I think Jen probably breaks the ice, and they realize that they really don't have an issue with each other. And Ev is like, I have no issue with you. It's just that black cloud you hang around. And every time I see you, I see her. So it's hard for me, whatever. And then Malaysia is like, basically like, she just want peace. And she's like, Jackie is in a good place. And I'm sure that she'll understand that I just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. And then they all laugh and they're happy, and, they're new best friends. See how easy it is? We can all just get along. And we see Jackie at therapy, and she has a black woman. So I'm like, yay and double yay. She's in therapy. We need her. I need her to get some therapy, and I need her to be with a black woman, because she seems to have a lot going on. And Jackie is like, well, I didn't want to come to therapy because, there's a stigma that if you go to therapy, there's something wrong with you. And I'm like, there is something wrong with you. You do need some help and some assistance, but you're not alone. A lot of us need help and assistance with various things. But I think, you really need some help untangling some things, because you got some things twisted, and I'm really glad you're getting some assistance with it. And her therapist is like, it takes courage to walk through these doors. And you said, it was time for you to come. So, why is it time? Why now? And Jackie is like, I've hurt some people because I felt that they hurt me. And then they do like a rollback, through the years of Jackie, blow hurt you. And, or help hurt her, not you, because she probably don't know you, she don't know me, but and she says she's in a dark place, but she's willing to go there to heal and get help, or whatever. And we find out that she was in foster care, that her mom had gone to jail. I think I heard that her mom was a booster and would take her boosting, but she says some things that her mother has publicly disclosed to let us know she's not saying anything that hasn't already been discussed publicly. I don't know. And look, I got my safety belt on, but I'm not moving. So we find out that she was in foster care, and that when she was in foster care, she heard the people say, she says that, look, we got this much money for them kids, that food is going over here. When they food run out, that's it. And then the other person was like, but what if they're hungry in the nighttime? And, the other person was like, well, they can just eat their fingernails. And I mean, I guess theoretically it was kind of sad to hear, and maybe because I was busy taking notes, I might have missed like the poignancy of it. So I don't know, I'm like, is that really what's going on with Jackie? Did we really get to the meat of something? But it's her first session, so hopefully it's a trained therapist, and she'll actually go on. That's why she doesn't hug her daughter. Well, why does she hate the dark-skinned daughter? Why is she trying to make the dark-skinned daughter walk on a treadmill? But she was talking about like the control stuff, and like feeling like she needed to have control, and 7 or 8 is when she started like getting, so I was encouraged. I'm very supportive. I'm very proud of Jackie. I'm really, really happy to see the evolution, because I feel like it's reality TV and we know it's reality TV, but then at the same time, I feel like, sometimes it gets kind of tired to see, and we do in real life get stuck, but it's good to see some progress and some movement. And like, it's cool for her to be cuckoo crazy Jackie and funny in a way, but it's not really funny when you think about, her children being tied up in it and her grandchildren being tied up in it. It's not like, it's like you love her, but I feel for her and her family too. Like, I wish her well. I'm glad she getting help. That's what I'm trying to say. um and the therapist starts going into this whole thing, and I kind of tuned out a little bit because it seemed like the therapist was like, I don't know if she was exactly preaching, but she was like, no matter how much money you have or how many things you have, it's not going to be enough to fill the hole, because the hole is deep down inside of you. And she going to this whole thing, and it's like, it's true, but it just seemed like a little weird to me. But maybe again, because I was trying to take notes. And then the therapist is like, you got to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself and making mistakes are the greatest skill set that you can ever know. And I think that that's important. I think it's important to make mistakes and learn and grow and develop and be able to forgive yourself. And Jackie is like, it's hard, but I don't care. I'm gonna be my best self. And then that's the end of the episode. So I'm here for it. I'm here for Jackie. I don't know if I missed anything important or misunderstood anything important. It seemed like the last few weeks with Potomac, I've been missing key things. But that's it. That's what I got. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those other good things. We're working on 1,000 subscribers, so appreciate all that you do. And today or tonight or whenever you're joining in on the video is the best day or night ever. So be you, be fabulous, you. Boo! And tomorrow we'll have oh, you seem pretty though. Look, and it's the middle of the night. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll have notes on the news or not news coming up. And also at some point this week, I think it's Wednesday, we'll be back at Queen Sugar. So yeah, that's what I got. Peace.